Hi guys, welcome back to my video or my channel. I'm talking about video. I am actually coming to do a quick labor and delivery video. I have my baby on July the 12th at 5:17 a.m. and I am exhausted. I am officially a mom of two. And I kind of do got a surprise for you guys at the end of the video. So let me start off. You know what? No, I can't even do a surprise because I'm going to have to, how the story is, I'm going to have to say it anyways. But I'm going to try. Okay, so let's see. July the 12th or July 11th, I started having contractions. I've been trying to get this baby out for days. Like, nothing worked. I have been to labor and delivery countless number of times, and nothing worked. I wasn't having consistent contractions, so they kept sending me home, and the more they sent me home, the more frustrated I got. And I'm like, okay, let's see one thing that I can try that everybody's been trying. And I went to the doctor. I had an appointment on the, I want to say the 7th. No, I think I don't remember, because I know I had an appointment on the 14th, and I was determined not to go to the 14th. So I went to the doctor, had my normal appointment, asked them about inducing me, and they told me they would give me a call on that Friday, which I think Friday was like the 7th or something like that. But he also stripped my membranes, and I asked, can he induce me? But he was like, oh, it's not a medical emergency, so we can put it in for a date, but there's no telling, when they will call you. They might call you Friday if we have any available beds, or they might call you that Monday. So I was like, okay. They stripped my membranes that Tuesday, and then I went Friday. No, yeah. They stripped them on Tuesday, and then I went Friday or Wednesday, Thursday. Friday came, no baby. Saturday came, and I started having contractions. But what I did do was I drank castor oil. I did castor oil and orange juice. And I mean, it gave me mild contractions where they didn't really hurt, but they were there and they were consistent. And then as the day progressed, they started to hurt more, but they weren't really bad. So, but I was determined. I was like, I am going to the hospital, and I am not coming home without this baby. So, later on in the afternoon, my contractions have been going on for about 3 hours. We went in about 6:40, almost 7 o'clock. And I told my boyfriend, babe, I'm going to the hospital. And he was like, well, what's going on? I said, because I've been having contractions and I'm just over it. So he's like, well, sit here for an hour, and if they still go on, then we'll go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, I'll go to the hospital. And he's like, well, if they don't, you've been going and they've been sending you home. And I'm like, I know. So you can stay home, and I will call you if I do end up having to stay. That way somebody could just bring you to the hospital and drop you off. And he's like, no, wait a minute and wait until, I'm like, no, I'm not waiting. I'm determined. to get this baby out. So we went to the hospital. We get to the hospital about 7 o'clock. My contractions were still consistent, and it just was really uncomfortable. So we go in there and we're sitting. Well, because of the, what's her name, the husbands can't, or boyfriends can't come in. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here, and I'm like, hopefully they don't send me home. So we get there, we go in, make sure we have our bags and everything, have them in the car. I'm in the triage for labor and delivery, and I'm there just sitting and sitting. You know, they check you. And my cervix was not dilating at all. Like, I was stuck. So the nurse was like, well, we'll check you. She was like, your contractions are not strong enough to make you dilate. So you're still at the same amount, which is crazy because with my son, I don't think I dilated either with him. I think that, yeah, they had to give me Pitocin because I was a week overdue with my son, which with this baby, I was going to be a week overdue. So, I just was over it. But she comes in, they check me. She's like, you're not dilating. She said, but you are having contractions. So I'm like, okay. We waited and waited and waited. They were like, well, we're going to see what the doctor wants to do. I keep looking at the TV because I'm watching Steph and Tasha. So that's why I keep looking at the TV. But they're like, we're going to see what the doctor wants to do, and we'll just have you wait here. So I had noticed, like, the last 3 contractions, it was like almost 9 o'clock, I want to say. And the baby's heart rate kept dropping the last 3 contractions. And I'm like, oh. So I'm like sitting here, and it's getting later and later, and I'm like defeated at this point because I'm like, they're going to send me home and I'm going to be angry. So I was getting ready to text my boyfriend, ask him where was he at in the parking lot because they're going to send me home. No sooner had I did that, she came in and was like, well, the baby keeps having some decels, meaning the baby's heart rate keeps dropping. So you're 39 weeks in 4 days, or that's what the baby is measuring. And we're not going to send you home. We're going to keep you. So I was so excited. But they told me they were going to give me Pitocin. And I know Pitocin is horrible. That's what, if you don't know, that's what speeds up contractions. That's what speeds up labor and everything like that. And I was trying my hardest not to have to go through that because I did with my son, and it was horrible. And I feel like had I went into labor on my own, I would have been able to handle it. But with Pitocin, it makes everything 10 times worse. So I'm like, okay, they're gonna give me Pitocin, and they started an IV right away. This is about maybe 9 o'clock. And so I call my boyfriend and tell him, babe, we're going to stay. They're not going to send us home because the baby's heart rate keep dropping. Give me 1 second. So then I tell him, can you call my mom? So he calls my mom and lets her know. And so he's like, well, does that mean I can come in? And I'm like, well, after I get my room and I get set up, then they'll let you in. So I get my room finally. And the nurse, which I had an amazing nurse, her name was Evelyn. She was amazing. Like, she made me feel comfortable the whole time. She, me having contractions and all that stuff, she kept telling me to breathe and all that stuff. I felt like she really cared about me and my baby's safety. So we got in the room, we set up everything, and then she was like, I'm gonna do we get in the room, and they have me on the monitor, and every time I have a contraction, baby's heart rate is dropping lower and lower. So they get me, they make me change positions. Same thing I had to do with my son, my first child. They make me change positions, get into a comfortable position where baby's heart rate is stabilized. So she told me she's not gonna do the pitocin until the baby's heart rate is stabilized for long enough for her to feel comfortable. So we're there for maybe, I called my boyfriend, tell him he could come into the room. Maybe I want to say like 20 minutes. They start the pitocin. And I'm sitting there, I feel the contractions, but they're not that bad. But they did a low dose. So I'm like, okay, I can handle these. I'm not going to need an epidural. And she's like, well, let me know, because you have to get a lot of fluid in you before you can get the epidural. So please let me know. So I'm like, oh no, I think I can handle it. Then all of a sudden they turn the machine up. And that's when the contractions come stronger. And I'm like, I can still do it. I'm breathing through it. And then they give me oxygen because baby heart rate starts dropping. So then they have to turn off the pitocin and just give me oxygen and the fluids. So they got me into a position to where, like, literally my baby's heart rate was dropping, and it was so scary because at one point my baby's heart rate was about, I think it went down to 80, and it was like 6 nurses that came in there. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, you can see it on my nurse that originally, they helped me and all that stuff. You can see it on her face that she was scared. So she's like, get oxygen. She was like, get oxygen. Baby needs oxygen. Breathe, and all that stuff. Because I'm not breathing with contractions, because, of course, them things hurt. So you're not thinking about breathing. But that was a scary point. It was really scary, because then as my contractions progressed, my oxygen went down to like 20%. So she was scared, like, okay, stop pushing, and give baby air. So once I breathe, baby gets air. And once it was crazy. My contractions started coming stronger, and I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. The typical things you say when you're in labor, like, I cannot do this. And my boyfriend's telling me, yes, you can, babe. You're almost there. You got this. You're okay. It's okay. And then the nurse is saying, you're okay. So we're breathing. They checked me, and I went from 3 to like 5, and that's when I got the pressure was so like bad. I'm like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So she checks me, and she's like, oh, she was like, you can go use the restroom or whatever. So while I'm walking to the bathroom, I have a contraction, and I'm telling my boyfriend, like, babe, I gotta poop. Like, sorry for the TMI, but if you're a mom, you've been in labor, you feel like you gotta poop. So I go to the bathroom, I'm having a contraction, and I just feel the urge to go to the bath, like I have to poop. And he's like, no, babe, you can't do that. You can't do that. And he was like, she said don't do that. And I'm like, well, I can't help it. It's the urge to push. So get up off the toilet, go to the rest, or go get in the bed. And they had already started setting up. We were laying down, because she was like, well, I'm going to give you a break off this Pitocin. And she was like, you're only at 5. She was like, we're going to give you a break or whatever. By this time, it's like 1 in the morning. And my boyfriend, we're like settling down on the couch. Or he's on the couch and I'm in the bed. And so she's like, we'll give you a break or whatever. And I got the epidural. So I'm laying there. And he finally dozes off. And then another contraction comes. Now, mind you, I just had an epidural. But the epidural did not work because the right side of my body, my right leg went numb. And I think it was probably my right side because I was having a contraction only on my left side. That's like literally, I can feel everything. So I'm telling her, like, I have to push. I have to go to the bathroom. And she's like, wait a minute, wait a minute. So then they check me. It's like 4 something by this time. My boyfriend's on the couch snoring. And they check me. And she's like, oh, you're at an 8.5, 9. So I text my mom at like 4. It was like 4. I don't know what time it was. I need to look at my phone, but it was like 4 something. And I text her, Mom, I'm at 8.5, 9. And she's like, oh, okay. So, they bring in the, the things, all the stuff they need for the doctors. But my doctor was in a nut. She was delivering another baby. So I'm like, these contractions are coming. I'm like, I have to push. I'm like, not gonna make it. And so I'm telling them, like, it hurts so bad. And so they did practice pushes until my nurse came, or my doctor came. So we're doing practice pushes, and then we're doing practice pushes and everything. And then my baby heart rate like dropped. I guess it went off of the monitor. So they're trying to move it around, but I'm still pushing. They're trying to move it around to find my baby's heart rate. And I'm like, they're like, you have to breathe, give baby oxygen. But then the doctor comes in, and the doctor is like, no, we have to get the baby out. This is not, the oxygen level is off the, what's her name? We need to get baby out. So your next push is going to be your last push. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like breathing, and they're like, go ahead, go ahead. So I start pushing, and then I'm like, I have to take a breath, and they're like, no breaths, just push, push, push. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of easier said than done. Like, so this last push, I'm like, I have to give it my all. And I'm pushing and pushing, and then I have my eyes closed. Next thing I know, I felt my baby's head, and I'm pushing, and then next thing I know, just shoots on out. And I'm like, oh, thank God. So they sit the baby on my chest, and they're like, oh, baby's okay. But my baby was face up. So instead of being, face down like they normally are, my baby was face up. So they call that sunny side up. And they're like, that's why it was so hard, and this and this and this. But baby's healthy. And so I just have my eyes closed. I'm listening to them. And then they sit baby on my chest. They're cleaning baby. You can hear baby crying. And I'm like, they're like, wait a minute. Didn't you say that you were having a girl? And I'm like, yeah, that's what we were told. And the doctor was like, no, it's a boy. So yeah, you guys, I had a baby boy. I thought I was going to have my little girl because I already have a boy. But I had a baby boy. And they told me my baby, because my first son was 8 pounds. And they were like, oh, the baby will be about that size. This little thing is 6 pounds. He probably 7 now. But he came out little, feisty. And he's like so tiny, but he's so perfect. And let me go get him. So everybody, meet our baby boy, Carter Xavier Payne. And he was born on July the 12th. And he's like absolutely perfect. It's so crazy because he's so different from my first child. Well, no, they both were calm. They're both relaxed. But I think the weight difference is what it is. It's like he's so tiny, and it's like, I don't know, but like it's crazy. Like now I'm like officially a mom of two, and I'm a boy mom. Like I wanted a little girl so bad, but I mean, I wouldn't change it for nothing. The experience was different. It is it's harder now just to, because with everything going on, it's a lot of people are more cautious. They ask, hey, or no, nobody wants to see him. They want to see him, but they don't want to see him because they don't want to get him sick. They don't want to, none of that. So it's been hard. It's different adjusting. My son has actually been with his dad, and then he's been with, he was with my brother and them for a couple days, just so I can get like adjusted with a new baby. So he's coming home today and he'll be here. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a great experience. Like, I'm tired right now. That's why I look like this. Like, I'm exhausted. But I mean, it's learning. It's a learning experience. I'm adjusting to be a mom of two, and this baby is breastfed, so he's greedy. This one, he eats a lot. So it's like, I thought he would wake up, but I guess he's tired because he's been up all morning, and he just now went back to sleep. So thought he would be up for you guys, but I guess not. Anyways, this is my labor and delivery / meet my son, who we thought was gonna be a girl. We had to take all of the girl stuff back and exchange it and get boy stuff. Anyways, thank you guys again for watching. I love you guys. I plan on doing more videos. I know I always say that. I'm a lot less stressed since I'm not pregnant anymore, so I do plan on coming and making some videos. Now that I'm healing, I did have to get stitches, so like I'm healing, but now that he's out and I can maneuver around, like I feel way better than I did. So I will be back again with some more videos, some more challenges. Thank you guys again for watching. I love you guys. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys again. Bye.